I think the video is really evident of what happened, and I think it's pretty abysmal to say that I assaulted anyone when I'm the one here with my, my ulna and radius were broken, and so yeah, I just think that was pretty absurd, and I never had any phone call offered to me.
I want to talk a little bit about the lack of popularity attached to this devastating war in Iran. Now, as we know, most Americans are not in favor of the military aggression that's been carried out against Iran, especially because it's being done on behalf of Israel. And now we are hearing from more and more members of our military and even some veterans who are not happy about the situation. Now, one of those veterans decided to take the protest to the Senate. And so we all witnessed how Marine Corps veteran and firefighter Brian McGinnis was treated as he protested the war in Iran on the Senate floor. Take a look.
Stand up as a Marine and stand up for America. No one wants to fight for Israel.
Why are you here? Why are you getting arrested?
Free Palestine, from the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli. Palestine will be free.
Oh my God, they broke his arm. Oh man.
We just witnessed a Marine veteran interrupting the hearing, and they broke his arm.
Why did he interfere?
Because there is a war in Iran, and our military brothers and sisters are going to die for Israel, and we are here to say no.
Now, McGinnis's arm was broken as he was forcibly and violently removed from the Senate by 3 officers and a senator, Tim Sheehy. McGinnis was protesting the US involvement in Israel's war with Iran. And luckily, to help discuss this issue with us today is Brian McGinnis. Brian, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to meet you, Anna Kasparian and Cenk Uygur. You guys have been a voice piece for us who've been suffering with the Palestinians. And so I appreciate being here with you. Thank you for having me.
It's an honor to have you on our show. And it's an honor to know that there are wonderful people in this country who are willing to fight for what is right. And let me just start off with the first question. Why do you feel so passionately against getting involved in this war in Iran?
I feel very passionately because of the last 2.5 years, witnessing and being reminded of the brutalities of war and the senseless killings of family members and the unnecessary nature of it. And so we've all known that, but well, we don't all know that. Combat veterans do. And as a combat veteran, I just feel like I have a little more insight, and I want to amplify that insight to others, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I'm just saying that war is nothing anybody wants, and I feel like this unprovoked war with Iran is just gonna cause more of the same, and that's why I'm speaking out.
So, Brian, they say it's patriotic to go and fight and be a combat veteran. And obviously, signing up to defend our country is intensely patriotic. But did you wind up defending our country, or did we wind up in these wars for a different country? And did you lose your brother in arms? And in your case, now broken arm, by the way, but from a senator who takes a ton of money from AIPAC, the Israeli lobby. Did they lie to you? Was it all for a different country?
Cenk, real quick, I appreciate you being such an advocate and comrade in this effort. Yeah, it's been a very deceitful campaign of weakening all the states surrounding Israel over the last 25 years. There was a whistleblower from the military ranks that said, this was the plan, take out 7 countries in the next 7 years. It's taken longer than that, but we've all known Iran was in the end of this list as the strong, established power they are, and they've greased the wheels of public opinion somehow, or have hypnotized people to think that this is a rightful, justful, campaign of war, and it's all been for Israel or colonization. And you can recognize a tree by its fruit, and the fruit of this has just been senseless murder and killing. And it's about time we've all woken up. I think 9/11 did do a job on all of our emotions, and gave us some weird justification for just conflating all Muslim countries as if they were Afghanistan or part of the Twin Tower terrorist crew. But so much has come out. So I think all this war has been very baseless.
Yeah, I mean, look, I have so much I want to ask you about. When it comes to the war in Iraq, for instance, I'm not sure if you were deployed to Iraq, but that war never made any sense. Even the allegations that we did it for oil didn't quite make sense to me, because we don't import Iraq's oil even now, right? So like, what was that really about? And then you go back and you watch the videos of Benjamin Netanyahu, and then you hear what General Wesley Clark testified about during the Bush administration. You learn about the clean break memo that did seek to move away from the Oslo Accords and the whole notion of a two-state solution to instead, avoid diplomacy and just kind of go for the entire region, for Israel to go for the entire region. And then they also talk about it openly, publicly. Just today, Benjamin Netanyahu gave a speech where he says that they are, pursuing that region as the hegemon, as the dominant power. And in order to do that, you have to disempower, you have to destabilize some of the developed countries there, including Iran, including Turkey, which is next. Turkey wasn't even included in the list of countries to attack, but the Israelis are already talking about invading Turkey. So were you deployed in Iraq by any chance? And if you were, what did you believe you were going to Iraq for? And when did you realize it was all a sham?
Part of my problem with wanting and trying to convince people of the sham these wars are is understanding my own personal perceptions back when I was 20 or 21 years old, going to Iraq in the Marine Corps. I had no concerns about the world. I had no contextual information about the world. I was just young, fresh out of high school, right into the Marines, and ready to execute orders and be a good Marine. And so I understand that there's such a irrational mindset of so many, and the conflation and the propaganda can do such a job on people to trick us that war is justified. And until you get there, I don't think you know what you're signed up for. And I know we can power through it, and people are gonna do amazing things, but when all the noise dies down, like it has for me, and I've had 4 children, and you do learn about the world, the things you've done and things you've seen in war or combat really come back and make you have to come to terms with them. And when I met my wife, who's a Palestinian American, she can see things from an oppressed point of view, and seeing things through her point of view, and being in love with her, and really seeing things through her eyes. And then seeing the genocide unfold, and has just really done a job on helping me see it from all sides. And so I'm just taking my perspective and my experience, and I'm just really trying to genuinely help others to try to be able to conceptualize it instead of having to experience it themselves.
Just a quick follow-up before I toss it to Cenk. Does she cook, your wife?
Yes.
You be eating good. You be eating good, Mr. Brian. Okay, I love to hear it. Okay, let's go to Cenk.
So Brian, give me a sense, and I know it's just one person, and so you don't speak for all veterans, et cetera, but among the veterans that you know, how much are they waking up and realizing that they weren't defending America, that they were sent, again, like you realized, to defend another country or to attack another country on behalf of a foreign government?
I work at the fire station with a few veterans. and they are up to speed. They know what the true reason for this wars are: money, greed, and now even more specifically, Israel. And so the veterans that I know personally seem to show understanding of that. Now I know a lot of more veteran friends that I don't see day to day, but I know through social media and are all across the United States, and I don't know exactly where they land. Sometimes they tell me we don't have the same politics, but you'll always be my friend and that kind of thing. So I don't know where they see things. And then one last set of veterans I was thinking about. I forgot my train of thought.
So that's okay, Brian. Let me just follow up real quick, and you'll remember in the midst of this answer too, which is I'm now noticing more and more veterans, interestingly enough, running in the Green Party, right? So Lieutenant Colonel Anthony Aguilar also running as he's a whistleblower for the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, running in North Carolina as a veteran. So Brian, is that a trend, which is veterans going, no, war doesn't make any sense. We're gonna go all the way to the Greens because they've always been for peace. And tell us a little bit about where you're running to.
It seems to me like that is a trend. There's a lot of unconventional candidates in this election, and that makes sense. The system is really showing itself to not work and be of the people, and so that would motivate unconventional people to step up, like myself. The last thing I would like to do is file with the FEC and do a bunch of administrative work to get myself in the position to do this. But I'm so thankful I did, and it was only the passion to try to fight against the genocide and fight against the senseless wars and murder that motivated me to want to enter into this arena. And so, yeah, and I am so pumped to be with Tony Aguilar. His words towards Senator Sheehy delight me so much and make me feel that camaraderie and someone that's on my side and gives me strength in this fight, because it really is, we're not being listened to by our governments, and they are just doing anything they want without checking in with anybody. We used to think checks and balances was something that was unique or special about our government, and that's all falling flat. So anyway.
Yeah, and for the audience members who live in North Carolina, he's running for the Senate seat in North Carolina as the Green Party candidate. And in regard to Senator Tim Sheehy, it's pretty clear who he works for, and it's unfortunately not the American people. He's a Republican out of the state of Montana, and he stepped in for no reason at all to assist in violently kicking you out and breaking your arm in the process of doing so. Let's take a look at this AIPAC tracker graphic, because you'll get a sense of just how much money he's been taking from AIPAC specifically. So the number is $641,337 total. $79,253 comes from PACs, and then you have another $562,084 from bundlers. But just going back to what happened to you, you were the one who was roughed up. You were the one who had your arm broken. But we later learned that the officers who arrested you, they were treated with kid gloves. They were treated for minor injuries, but you were charged with assault on a police officer, resisting arrest, and unlawful demonstration. Now, look, obviously, when you engage in these types of protests, you will get detained. It's kind of expected, right? It's part of the, what is it called again, Cenk? When you get into good trouble and they arrest you, you're gonna get arrested.
Yeah, civil disobedience.
There we go, that's what I meant. Yeah, civil disobedience. I was having a brain fart, I forgot the wording. But tell me about those charges and what you've experienced so far after that whole incident.
So those are my charges. Due to being in the legal process, I might not talk too much about those things, but definitely was, I I think the video is really evident of what happened, and I think it's pretty abysmal to say that I assaulted anyone when I'm the one here with my, my ulna and radius were broken, and so, yeah, I just think that was pretty absurd, and I never had any phone call offered to me, and I requested it my attorney while in the hospital. Now the hospital took great care of me, but I think they were really trying to silence me and quiet the subject.
Do you think the American people are free? We hear all the time that our soldiers fight for our freedom. Do you believe that the American people are free?
No, not at this time. With everything that's going on, so much killing is being done without our advice or our opinion being taken, and ICE has really brought authoritarianism to our states and our homes and to our streets, and so I really am concerned about the direction our country's going in terms of liberty and justice for all. I think that's crumbling.
Yeah, my last question, Brian, is: do you think AIPAC might have thrown in extra money to Senator Sheehy to break your arm? Like, not to do it ahead of time, but afterwards, like, hey, nice job. Way to break US Marines' arms and hurt them on behalf of Israel. How dare they protest Israel? Do you think that maybe he got a tip or a gratuity for that?
Cenk, I really am not concerned about him, whatever he was trying to do. My whole purpose really is to just bring awareness to the Gaza genocide, bring awareness to these unnecessary wars and the horrible consequences that come from them, and trying to speak from a place of experience, place of compassion, and speak as a voice, which I've received so many emails from people in support of what I did through my campaign website, and they are so heartwarming and so supportive. And to me, it's saying that that's the pulse of the nation, and I'm really excited, and I really hope that I've encouraged others to want to take action, and in any way they can, in any little way they can. And I really encourage people to just take a small step in that direction, and that those steps will grow, and you'll become more confident. When I first went to protest, I felt out of place, but something in my heart spurred me to want to be an activist. And being an activist is the easiest and hardest thing to do. All you have to do is say you're an activist to be one, but then you have to find out and you have to push yourself daily to see what you can do to affect change for your cause. And so I just want to encourage that, and that's all my message is. And I really appreciate all the support, and I really hope that I can win my election because I will be for the people, and I hope people can just see that from what I am. I don't have nothing else to offer except these opportunities, these great opportunities from you guys to speak to the people, and hopefully people can see that.
Where can our audience go if they're interested in supporting your campaign?
I have a website, brianmcginnis.org is my campaign website, and all my social medias are attached to that website. I've got a TikTok, I've got an Instagram, and I've got another one,
X, maybe?
X, yeah, that's it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Brian McGinnis, you are a hero in my book, a patriot, and I really appreciate you for giving a voice to the voiceless. Keep on fighting. You have our support. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I hope a lot more patriots follow in your footsteps.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.